She leaned against the railing, ready to take a photo for her family, when unexpectedly, the railing suddenly broke. Pregnant and all, she plummeted from a height of 3 meters. Her husband immediately wanted to rush over to save her, but it was too late. Mary was then urgently sent to the hospital. They initially thought both mother and child would be lucky to survive, but fortunately, with timely treatment, not only was the baby safely delivered, but the wife also escaped serious harm. It seemed like just a false alarm. However, Mike had no idea that this accident would completely change his life. That night, Mike was startled awake by a strange noise. He went downstairs to investigate and discovered that the source of the sound was actually his wife. She was frantically scratching the wall with her fingers, constantly muttering that her child was inside the wall and she had to get him out. Obviously, this was completely impossible. Mike assumed that his wife was experiencing hallucinations due to the shock and didn't take it seriously, patiently comforting her. However, even stranger things happened the next day. His wife had actually taken their newborn child to the cemetery. Luckily, Mike, who had just gotten off work, discovered this in time and hurried over to ask her about it. Unexpectedly, his wife's words were extremely bizarre. She insisted that she was pregnant with twins and that the other child had already been buried in the ground. Faced with his wife's series of abnormal behaviors, Mike decided to go find his wife's teacher. He originally wanted to find a suitable doctor for his wife through the teacher's connections, but he accidentally uncovered a secret that had never been revealed before. It turned out that Mary wasn't the teacher's only student. She also had a senior fellow student named John. Once, when the teacher was away, John had actually done something terrible to Mary. Although John was later punished by the law, Mary developed depression as a result and completely forgot about her past experiences. Even though she later received medical treatment, it was clear that this accident had caused her depression to relapse. It turned out that his wife had such a history. No wonder she had been acting so strangely recently. Early the next morning, before leaving for work, Mike specifically instructed the nanny to take good care of his wife and children. At ease, he stepped out the door. However, what he didn't expect was that when he returned home from work that evening, he found the house completely empty. The room was in a mess, as if it had been ransacked. His wife was gone, and his son and daughter had also disappeared without a trace. Just as he was in a state of anxiety, a torn open package on the ground caught his attention. Inside was a photo of 3 people, a teacher, his wife, and a strange man. Mike was puzzled and confused when suddenly the phone rang. When he answered, it was actually his daughter's voice. He urgently asked where the children were, but the little girl was too young to clearly state the location. He could only hear the sound of seagulls in the background. Mike's heart tightened, and he guessed that they might have been taken to a seaside town, so he drove there overnight. Sure enough, when he arrived at the seaside cottage in his hometown, he saw his daughters standing on the shore. He rushed over and hugged them tightly, asking what had happened and where their mother and brother were. The girls didn't answer, only pointing to a nearby stroller. The stroller was filled with pieces of wood, stones, and shells. Mike lifted the debris and was startled to find his son curled up at the very bottom. In just one day, the child had become a cold corpse. He couldn't imagine what his wife had done to their son. Soon after, he found his wife in a corner upstairs. She looked dazed, her eyes hollow, as if she didn't recognize her husband in front of her. Mike wanted to take her back for treatment, but he was met with fierce resistance and was even pushed down the stairs by her. Accompanied by her husband's screams, the wife gradually came to her senses. That night, Mike stayed with his wife and daughters in the old house. While they were sound asleep, he went to the beach alone, dug a deep pit, and tearfully buried his son in it. The next morning, while his wife was still relatively lucid, he prepared to take her home. But just then, a man